Yeah.
Facts. Wine.
Yes.
Well done.
What is something you would tell your parents to do different with you when you were younger?
Comparison. Stop that.
Celebrate me. I'm sorry.
Support. Yeah. Low key.
Support me. Celebrate me.
Yeah.
Nah, for real.
I'm not saying. Oh,
Y'all would have had to send an email to see me if you found out some support on me, real.
Honestly, I wouldn't really change nothing. Honestly.
Low key.
My parents taught me to be
I see that.
like strong-minded. You feel me? So when I started combating them, or you start saying like, start challenging their words, it wasn't ever from a place of I'm disrespectful. It's like, okay, why do you think that way? And we would have, if they get heated or not, yeah, you know, sometimes things go crazy, but they respected it, and that's how they grew me. So for them to tell me not to speak my mind or what have you was kind of like, like, what's going on? And if I didn't speak, they like, so you're not
or
gonna
rather,
say something?
is there anything that you would want your parents to tailor a little bit more? For example, the lessons that you want to tell your younger self, is there a way that your parents went in that time could have framed the situation a little bit better, so you wouldn't have to tell your younger self what you're telling your younger self now?
I think, I wouldn't really say it from my father's standpoint, but from my mother's standpoint, she was scared. Being black man in America.
Are you her first son?
Yeah.
Are you the oldest?
Yeah.
Only son?
Yeah. No, I have a younger brother.
She's the first,
But like,
technically. He would be the
it's
oldest.
cool.
I said first son,
Yeah.
which means he.
Oh, I
he
thought you
could've
meant
had
like
a-
oldest son. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
she could have had a daughter.
She was very scared, like, of me doing certain things. Or yeah, I wouldn't play soccer if it wasn't for my dad. I wouldn't swim if it wasn't for. I swim competitive. I wouldn't swim because if it wasn't for my dad. Like, I was 3, I jumped into the deep end, almost drowned. I was mad fearless, and they didn't want me. My mom didn't want me to do swimming at all. My dad was like, "No, you're going to go swim," because I wanted to do that, and I swam. So I think my dad not so much, but my mom like, stop being so scary. Yeah.
But it was warranted.
Yeah.
I feel like for
I want to
me,
play football.
it wouldn't like. I understand why, so it's hard for me to be like, I wish it happened another way, but I just wish we had more time together, like as a family. Like my parents worked very hard and worked all the time, and then when we weren't working, we were at church. Like I literally came to my house to sleep and start the day over again. Like I didn't spend time with my parents. We were in activities, which is good. We got things that we needed. When my parents weren't around, I had a village. But I feel like one for me was a little hard because my mother, like I said, was in charge of Sunday school. So my mother interacted with so many kids. And I saw that firsthand. I saw half of the population of my church calling my mother mom. And I feel like you guys had connections with her that I didn't even really have with her because, you know, life. And then I also feel like one thing my mother did, like my mother didn't compare us. We were the kids that people got compared to. She didn't compare us to anybody else. But she like, no, not like
Not
she,
her.
no, she
That's
did that. No,
that's
that's
not older sibling. That's that.
or just that's
not
stress.
her.
That's stress, and that's a weight now because now you feel like you can't stumble or fall because everybody being compared to you.
We're like Rianne. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but it's like
that's
if Rianne fall, if Rianne mess up now, it's like, okay, everybody been looking at you the whole time. You're the one that.
I guess
Or
even
even
now that
That was me and my
you have built up a pressure for yourself that didn't need to be there.
You are the standard. You are the bar.
Right.
And once you go below your own standardized
Foreshadowing.
Fear of
Wait,
success.
foreshadowing. If I fall, will you respect me?
Mhm.
Not gonna find out about that later.
If I fell off tomorrow, would you still love me?
Still
Right. I just feel like
Take it back.
no per, but
not her.
it's a nice thing to be like okay, but it's also like no. And then I also feel like my mother. One thing she did, like she always said it, like she has 3 children and she knows she has 3 children and she did not raise us the same. Like she knew that what she could say to my brother, she could not say to my sister and vice versa. Like she had to handle all of us differently. But I feel like my mom knew me so well, and it's like I feel like if we sat and spoke a little bit more, we would learn how to communicate with each other better. And also I feel like I would have learned some of the things about me that she knew about me from the womb. You know, like I just feel like I missed something. Like I like.
Well, you still
I feel like I
learning
miss my
yourself.
mom, like, and my dad. But like, you know, like I just feel like I miss that, and I feel like so much people around me to this day call my parents like mom, dad, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, okay, but she didn't birth you.
I mean, but the thing is now they're here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's
What?
I'm working.
But then you have
We
you
have
make time for like what you're saying right now.
literally
Literally,
time
because
the power of
when they aren't here,
I know, but it's just like I'm not trying to. I'm saying but, and that sounds like an excuse.
yeah. But like
It's just like it's new territory. It's almost like yeah, like
I don't know how you don't know how.
I don't and like damn.
You don't know how to.
I'm
break it
sorry,
down.
mom, but you already know. Like my mother, like I love my mother to the like do anything, but if y'all know me, y'all know how I speak. Y'all know like I'm very rah 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 rah,
You
and
think she don't know that?
no, she does know that, but it doesn't mean that she's not a human with feelings.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like that communication dynamic that we have is not always the greatest when it comes down to it. And then also now my parents that are at an age where they're like, I'm grown, I'm stuck in my ways, I'm retired, I did everything I have to do. And my mother be on some okay and walk away. So then I'm just like, bro, you my mom, you be supposed to do this so that we can get somewhere. Like I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm not doing it.
No, you are explaining it. I'm saying
I just feel like it's new and I have to figure out how to do that. And it's harder now because I'm actually like going out and doing stuff and living life and I
your
come
role
home.
switch.
Yeah, and like I come home now and like if I have it in me, I'm trying to work on my business and I'm literally like running on E all the time to now have to put more into something else and then also knowing that like they've already decided that in the next couple of years, 2-3 years, they're going back down because like
But my thing is like it's not. I guess
it's
it's reframing. Now I have to put more energy. It's more. Now I have to rearrange where my energy is. If that makes sense, like organize where my energy lies. Because when people that when you have the feeling like, damn, I miss this person and this person is still here, versus when that person isn't here.
No, I understand that because I feel like a lot of the people that I have lost, I've always felt like I wish we had more.
More, right? So I don't want you to.
Yeah, that's just where I'm
Think
at.
about it.
Y'all got too much information about me,
That's what I'm
guys.
saying.
Friends is
Right,
all
like, think about it from this perspective. The same excuses that your parents might have had when you were younger, where they worked hard, wasn't really around, didn't have the time, that's the same exact excuse you have now. So who's gonna break the trend? So
Y'all don't have to go.
Somebody-
We almost therapy.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, but it's like it's in a sense of like that's why it's so many times like even like 'cause me, I work with kids, like so I'm in the classroom. So it's so many times I've used quotes and I've used and I've had a certain mentality that my mom had when she was raising me that I have with like raising my students. Like I'm not a parent to any of them, but I feel like
No,
teachers
in a
raise
way,
them.
In a way.
I work
You know?
with early childhood.
So it's just a matter of like now that the roles are reversed, I understand my mom way more. We're still gonna butt heads, like, and we're still gonna be different. But it's certain things when you're put into their shoes, literally, it's like, okay, I get it.
It makes
now.
complete sense.
I
Yeah,
see.
that's
So
what
it's
I'm
so-
saying. Like, it's not out of a place of knowledge. So, like, I wish you could have. Like, I have no regrets as to the way I
Mhm.
was raised. My parents did the thing.
So if I could understand where Danae is coming from in the
Mhm.
sense that like, so when she said that she would go to school, whatever, and come home and sleep or whatever, and then she had a village to raise her. For
Mhm.
me, like, in the converse, her parents were part of my village.
Right.
You feel me? Like I feel the same way. Like I was more with her parents than I was with mine. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? I learned a lot from her father and her brother, and her mom was Sunday school superintendent, so I was always in that presence every Friday or Sunday, whatever day it was back then. In the same way, my mom was her dance teacher, so she had more of my mom than I did. You know what I'm saying? My dad might have been her Sunday school teacher. I don't know, because she was young enough. I don't know.
So it's all about like
But
perspective.
exactly. So it's like at the same time, like the things that I learned from her pops and her father, I didn't learn from my pops.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? My pops had a work schedule that it wasn't really conducive for us bonding. But he took me to school every day when I was in elementary school, and that was enough for me. But it wasn't enough for him. You know what I'm saying? The man, like last year, the man cried to me, told me he felt like he wasn't in my life. I never felt that way.
Mhm.
But you know what I'm saying? Like it's all different perspectives. I was like, I remember you taking me to school every morning.
Right.
I don't remember you not being there when I was asleep because I was asleep. But I remember every morning I woke up, you were there. You took me to school. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can understand kind of what she's
There's a
coming
difference
from.
between you have like vacation Bible school, which happens once a week, 1 week out of every year, and like to this day, people are like running down the street like, "Hey, sister, Henrietta," and like it's like, or like I'll see my mother like sit and talk to this kid that's acting the fool like all week long. Like she'll sit like the side will walk beside her, and I'm just like, you took the week off of work for this, huh? You didn't take a week off of work yet. And it's like, yeah, it's just different.
But even to piggyback on like Kyle, like so from my perspective, like so I come from like a single parent home, so it was like a little different. Like yeah, it might be the same thing. Like my mom wasn't there or like didn't support me enough, but it's just a matter of like I said, as I got older, like the understanding. Like now to this day, I mean I'm 23, I'm 6'6", like not even to parade myself, but I'm 6'6", I'm this big, and my mom really feels like I go outside and like people are gonna take advantage of me. Like I'm some naive kid that like if somebody sells me a dream, I'm gonna like run after it. And I have to show her. And I have to sometimes think like, okay, maybe like obviously she doesn't know outside Dre. It's just a matter of like, how do I get to understand like nobody's taking advantage of me. Like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and like like your lessons are working. Like some of them that I didn't even want to take, I have to take now. So it's just in this perspective of like. I wish my mom knew or like see me in a perspective of not this tall, but this tall.
The
milestones
you're reaching.
Nah, I have an older sister.
Yo, the milestones you're reaching like will eventually teach you that.
Right.
I'll be honest with you.
You know,
like I had the same issue. You know, obviously I'm not 6'6", but I had the same issue. Like, well, like even to this day, my mom sees me as 12, right? I'm 27. However, I have a job, I have a business, I get so many things. So like my mom was like, you know what? He's handling himself because every weekend I go out. I do what I have to do. I come back, whatever time, and I'm fine. You feel me? Like I don't do drugs, whatever X and Y and Z. You feel me? I'm out in that atmosphere. I come back. You feel me? Like I'm with you now. Nah, I'm with you now. I'm out in that atmosphere. I'm out in that atmosphere, and I come home virtually unscathed. So it's like she, at some point, she's going to realize the way you carry yourself at a certain amount of years. All right, I did my job.
I want to push back on that a little bit because, like, going back on what like Dre said, like my parents don't know the outside me. Like they know the child that they raised within their home, and like the actually that I showed them inside the home. So right.
The respect.
So right, there's certain things that you're not going to do.
Not saying you're not
respectful.
I don't want you to think I'm trying to say you be going crazy. No, I got you though.
No, I'm saying like there's certain things I wouldn't do at home. There's some things we wouldn't do at home that we probably would or dabble with outside of the home, right? So I think. I mean, our parents don't.
Alcohol.
Like, but I think it's like the question: what do you wish your parents would do back then? I think not what would they do back then, but what can they do now? I think I would appreciate if my parents got to know me. Like the umbrella, like I have the me inside the home is a part of me. Like that's not, I'm not being fake at home, right? That's just a side of me. But I wish, or I would hope as we go through this journey of life together, while my parents are here, to see the other side, see the side that my friends see.
See me as an adult.
Right.
Remember that you're always gonna be their children.
I don't think it diminishes the fact that I'm your child. I think it just allows you to see that I am more than
a
this.
child.
But you have to be willing to show them that.
Right.
But they also
But
have to be able to. There has to be a space for me to show them.
Right, which is why I say again, your milestones will show that. Like my parents have had the opportunity now to see me in action. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be Danae's anniversary event, they see me work, or whether it be a tournament that I'm in.
I think that's for what you do.
That's what we do.
That's like for me till this day, and I told them this last night. I told my mom, I'm not explaining what I do in my job to you anymore. Like I can't explain it anymore. Like
right. So
how much times can I say I am an external auditor and I do this, and she still goes back to the time it was like, so if a company's missing a penny, you have to go find it and where it went. I said, no, I'm not chasing pennies.
Chasing millions, baby. Yeah,
No, they say
No, but I'm not chasing those.
I know.
I'm not making sure the company is.
She just looks to see if they're
doing it right, like. And I'm like, so if I keep telling you, I know it's like the accountability thing was like, okay, eventually she's gonna get it. But at some point on my end, I'm tired.
But I mean, technically, I don't want to say I'm agreeing with her because I know how you. But she's not wrong.
Chasing pennies.
I mean, but you got to hear how she's trying to say it though. Like auditor, that's with taxes. That's what taxes, right? So you're coming
See,
back to.
and that's what I have to explain
It's
to
not
you.
only with
I'm an
taxes.
auditor.
Mm.
I don't
She
do
don't do
tax.
tax.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't tax.
No.
So
All she do is look at
you.
your books and make sure the books make
Yeah.
sense. And if they don't make sense, she'd be like, bro, this don't make sense.
Right.
Don't fix
So
it.
it's not that, it's making sure
Or
that
like
every
your
dollar is
books.
justified.
Don't match what you're saying to the outside.
Yeah, facts. So what if your mom lets her understanding it that way?
But I feel like she also know her mom well enough to know that her mom is
Yeah.
generally just listening to her and she'll see it.
Nah,
You know
me-
your parents,
That's how me and
like,
my mother
That's
are.
true.
Like me and my mother, we go back and forth on like what's today? Wednesday. If me and her have arguments today, we could end up having the same argument Thursday night, Friday night, and
Absolutely.
Saturday night.
And then
And she'll come to me and really start it as if it's a new argument.
Isn't you? And I'm like,
And I'll be
we
like,
did
Mom,
this.
we just spoke
It's an
about this
over
yesterday.
back.
And then she'll be like,
You know what I
I
remember?
don't care, or I don't remember. So
my
she'll
father don't know how to end nothing. People talk about
be like, I'll ask
it
you
will
100
upset
more
his spirit
times.
for the whole month.
Alright, so can I ask a question to everybody? Have you guys ever specifically, like, you can think about one moment, have you actually held your parents accountable for it
Yes.
the way that they do you?
Yeah.
Of course.
Recently.
So,
As I'm getting older.
so like, what was that experience?
Sarah said yes, by the way.
Now, I actually want to hear from your perspective. What's your experience? 'Cause
My
I don't
experience
think
was, you know, we're old, we're not changing.
The only time I cried.
We're set in our ways was my experience. And not even in a bad way, but it's just like, Danae lives here. Danae, not only does Danae not pay bills, Danae bought a commercial fridge and freezer, which has shot the electricity bill up. Danae, hush. And like, yeah, it's just like, we're stuck in our, like, we're adults, like, we hear you, we'll understand, but at the end of the day, like, you also have to understand that we are the way we are and this is how it is. And of course, we will always try to make space for you guys to speak, but it's just certain things, it is what it is.
Mhm.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because it is what it is, but it's also just like, okay, so now when I don't say, don't feel offended that I chose not to because we had already decided that this is how it is. And for me, that's still a little different because I'm the youngest of all my siblings too. So it's also just like,
You got so much leeway, bro.
Hell
Younger
yeah.
ones have so much.
I mean,
leeway.
Y'all get away
you
with
have
it anyway.
y'all are saying that, and I'm not gonna say that that's not the truth, but there's also another side to that where it's just like when it comes to like the expression of yourself and all those things, you're at the bottom of the totem pole.
Mhm.
I feel that.
Like,
Yeah, I feel that.
1 second. Can I, Drake, sorry, can you repeat the question again?
the question is, when you hold your peers accountable, what is their response? Pretty much, that's like.
Okay, so for me, my parents are two individuals that are very forgiving and that don't, they let a lot of things slide. So when it came down to me being in situations where I let a lot of things slide because I learned it from them, they were the ones that were like, why are you letting this slide? And I'm just like, I learned it from you, so you now tell me how to handle it because this is your behavior that I took upon myself. So I had to hold them accountable to what they raised me to be like. So now it's on you to teach me now. How am I supposed to teach something and how am I supposed to do something you never taught me?
Mhm.
And you're expecting me to do it.
I like that.
I
Mhm.
think that goes to like actively unlearning, or like that part of when you go to therapy, unlearning the traumas or unlearning certain behaviors that you have seen from your parents, or that your parents have demonstrated to you. Interesting.
But before you can unlearn, you gotta understand.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you do. You have to not be in denial.
Yes, very much so.
But one thing we have to realize is it gets better when you stop trying to live in between their standards. And it's like, it's not disrespect. And like I said, everybody comes from different cultures, different perspectives, and religions. But when you stop trying to live in between their standards, is where you really become yourself. And it's
I
like,
think
that's where like, the pushback is sometimes.
you're turning your head because you're thinking about what if their standards you have adopted. I think no.
Not even that. I just feel like I don't got a problem with the standards my parents have set for me.
But that's you. That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what, like, that's
Everybody.
just something for me that I don't
Mhm.
I don't get, because I feel like my parents have done a great job of setting standards for me, but I also have that small niche of parents that come from the place that they come from that have still allowed us to all be in fly in a different direction. Like, I told my mom I want to start a business, and she didn't really blink an eye. Like, to me, it was just like, okay, like, she might have gone to other people and be like, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Every now and again, yes, she might have her moments where she's like, well, you ain't making no money, so, and I'm just like, but in terms of like allowing me to just do whatever, like, all of us have been able to go and be in whatever, and that was all still within the standard, because it was like, you're gonna do what you want to do, fine, but you're gonna do it to the best of your ability. Like, I feel like it depends what the standard was that your parents set for you and how you adapted.
Wait, are we all Caribbean here?
Oh,
Yeah.
Jamaica. Whoop, 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 whoop.
I think
Alright,
You can't take us nowhere.
We have a
Oh, we
Kenyan.
got it.
We have a Kenyan slash
You dig what I'm
Egyptian
saying?
slash.
Yo, she in another
Big up
country
the
right
motherland.
now. It's like 4 a.m.
Big up the motherland.
She might see the sun come up.
Earring
That's
live from
dedication.
Kenya.
That's dedication right there.
Earring live from Kenya.
It's about to be 5 a.m.
5 a.m. in
5
Kenya.
a.m.
Yeah, you in the house
Kenya.
together.
No days off.
You waking up people.
No days off.
You need a you disrespectful. You waking people up.
Carry on.
the reason why I asked that is because Caribbeans, 'cause I'm Jamaican, so Caribbeans have a sense of their
They're
pride
very
pride
I was
is very strong, and in terms of you come from Haiti, yeah, the same thing. Yeah, facts. Like, they have a lot of pride, so when they push their pride onto their kids as to what they're supposed to accomplish, and then they try to go outside of the norm business-wise, right? Like, my parents wanted me to do healthcare. I'm in
Yes,
tech
STEM, you
business.
know, science is the same.
Yeah,
STEM,
you
you
feel
all got
me?
the same thing.
But the thing is, though, then they start saying things like, you ain't making no money, or how's that thing going? Tell me about that. And then when you try to tell them about it, they ain't really listening like that for real. And it's like, but the thing is, though, secretly they're still rooting for you. Like,
Don't do that in secret.
But I see
Your kids need to hear it.
What I was saying,
Because
and I would apologize.
you have
Like,
the doctor graduated.
I'm so sorry that was in
5 years
No,
of anniversary
legit,
of
because-
side sipping.
This is why we celebrate you, Ashley. We see you. We see you.
I'm celebrating others.
It don't gotta be a business.
I just want you to know.
Promoting the shit out
I
of
want
these
you to
people.
know.
Good shit, Ashley. Let's go. Like,
The
every
honey
little
that
matters.
is replacing is not you.
Bro.
Okay, you doing your thing today.
You know what?
I mean,
The
like,
rest of you honey need to step it up. Dre got next. Okay.
No, but I'm sorry that that's your experience, because like I know that that's the real thing. But like my mother, like my parents didn't do that. But I also feel like it was because they were sure enough. That's one part of me that they were sure. Like, they were sure that the child that they raised was gonna do what she said she was gonna do, and she was gonna figure out and she was gonna get it done. And I could say that for the last 3 Mother's Day, with the exception of this Mother's Day, I didn't do a sale. For the last 3 Mother's Day, my mother has been up with me making the orders. I didn't even do nothing for my dad's Father's Day. I have to plan something this weekend. Because Father's Day, my father, every papa, my father brings everything. You know, I can't pick up that tent by myself. I'm 5 feet tall. Even like this last one, I was like, Dad, you don't have to come do it. When I pulled up in the driveway, he was right there. Like, I already cleaned up the basement from the kitchen because you left it a mess. And like, he unpacked the car, all of that. So I feel like, yes, but like, y'all need to do better parents for real, because that's not how it should be. I feel like the only thing with that though, because I've seen the other side where everybody's like loving the entrepreneurial culture and spirit, and then they really not about what they say they're about. And I'm saying that from like people who I personally have rooted for, and I have invested in y'all businesses, and y'all have disappointed me, and I will never speak your name or your business to anybody because y'all didn't do it right. And those are the situations where it's like, now you embarrassing your parents for real, because like they said okay. They said okay, and they let y'all do it, and they tried their best, and then y'all just woke up today and decided that was finished. And that behavior is disgusting, and if you're not about it, don't be about it and don't get into it, because you're embarrassing yourself and the people who rooted for you. And when y'all have people like that, then you can't be mad at your parents. I'm sorry, I took that one deep. I'm sorry. That's not right either. Because imagine you're gonna tell your parents, oh yeah, everything you choose set for a standard is a dub. I'm gonna do it this way, and then you have nothing to show for it at the end. You're disgusting. I don't.
Rianne and Sarah, y'all seats are only 2 left. Okay.
Yo, you know what's crazy?
Y'all better come in here and make some valid points.
Nah, but
You went off and not look. You went.
No,
Just
because
to follow
I'm
up,
thinking
though.
about them in my head.
Just to follow up though.
Always like this.
Oh.
Did they actually just say things and me and Rhea just
I'm saying wacky things.
because there's nothing to say?
That wasn't
So let me do my thing.
That was
But that's
fast.
not what I'm
Nah.
saying. Majority of the example you just brought up was you brought up your mom. Like I feel like my mom did that too. I feel like a lot of moms push back more than fathers do.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna say, 'cause my dad always encouraged me to go. If I'm gonna do something, do it to the best of your ability. My mom was like, why you wanna do that?
You know why?
To coddle.
It's
You feel like
no, it's they
She
wanting the
cares.
best for you. It's her
Like,
job to
They
protect
want
that
to make sure your
womb,
vision was
The womb
clear.
effect
Yeah.
is real.
They want to really make sure.
They
your
want to
vision
make sure
was
that
clear.
you are going to
Right.
succeed, and they only know what they know.
For example, my pops, like if I go home with bad grade, like a C,
Yeah.
you feel me? He always said like, yo, which I feel like it's impossible. He was like, oh, you got twice as much as I got, so whatever. You doing good? like he never got down no more. You feel me?
Uncle,
But,
what you was getting?
for me, but my mom, not to say that I ever, like, I really haven't disclosed anything that I've done before side with my parents, you feel me? I just went and did it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was to ever, like, with work, are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you doing that? It was always checks and balances with my mom.
Yeah.
Like, you feel me? I'm gonna be real with you. I wouldn't have went to the college that I went to if it wasn't for my mom. Cause I was lazy in high school. I was lazy in high school. She pushed me. If I was up to my pops, you would have went to some community school. You know, shout out to the community schools. You know, I still get degrees, but you know, it's a different experience.
Yeah.
Y'all still get degrees. That's crazy.
Nah, that is.
I see what you guys are saying. I mean, at least from my household, the push was from both sides in different ways,
Yeah.
but it was still a same push. Because it was like both of my parents. So my dad got his master's, and my mom had her bachelor's and graduated licensed occupational therapist. And I feel like that's for the degrees. Especially coming from Haiti at a young age and making it and doing what they gotta do, that's crazy. Owning it.
There's also nothing wrong with degrees. Certifications are cool too.
Certifications and all that. Like, no, seriously. Like immigrants who have done above and beyond where they have come from. So it was that part, that immigrant like work ethic was from both sides for me. And I feel like that is the reason why, like what Sarah was saying, there's always something next. Because if my parents could do that,
What am I doing?
what the hell? I can't be happy because I graduated. My parents did that, they didn't speak English.
It's a lot of
Facts.
being the first.
Right?
First
They didn't speak English and they graduated. So it's like,
Fact, but
How
that's
can I-
you living to
how
their
can I-
standards. That's
how
not
can
you
I
living
now?
for you.
but I
No,
feel
that's
like
what
that
still
parents
is
have
not
not
the
set
standard.
for yourself is the benchmark.
But it's based off of
But
what?
yeah.
What is
But
it
But
based
that's
off
just
of?
everything in life.
Today's time.
Everything you like, you learn, and you take from other things to then create your own standard.
No, but I'm saying from that exact perspective that she just took, like I'm not speaking for everybody, but for you, you just said that you were like, okay, I just graduated, but they graduated because they didn't speak English. You're living
finish
in
line is the
between
finish
their
line.
standards.
So-
That's another reason why you cannot praise yourself. Because you feel like if you didn't do it the same way that somebody else did, you didn't do something.
You got to do.
Ashley, again, you need to have segments. We here for you. Come on. You graduated. You audited the shit out of these people. I want you to know we hear you and we
Sarah had
respect
something
you.
to say. Sorry. Sarah.
I'm just saying that's a great point because I have that same struggle where I'm currently living within my own parent standard. You don't feel like you're doing something for yourself, but for me, I feel like I owe them that because of like the hard work and the struggle that they took to come here.
How can I make their work in vain?
I really hope that
within
that's
standard till whenever. Like for me, like I feel like I owe them that.
I mean, you can embrace them. You can embrace it, but your ceiling won't be the same as theirs. Like,
I know, but that's because how dare I even stay where they were? Like that's me too.
Yeah.
What you always say, they walk so we can run and then the next people can fly. Sorry, I'm quiet.
I have more pressure to reach a higher ceiling because they
Why?
want me to.
Why?
They made a foundation.
Hold on. Finish, Cyrus. I'm sorry.
Because they worked hard to get me to
not to the path that they want you to do.
No, just the path that they built for me.
Like
Like,
why shouldn't
They
I
paved the road of success, so
They
how
paved-
dare you not
Be
continue the road,
Be
right?
successful.
let me finish. Sometimes it is within what they want. I'll agree to that.
Yeah, I mean, in the end though,
Rian, this on you, dog. I'm sorry. Rian, your spot, your seat is hot, Rian.
nah, but in the end though, your parents, even though it may seem like a lot, because coming from a foreign country, coming to America, where it's the land of the free and land of opportunity, yeah, they wanted to come here. But the thing is, they laid a foundation for you to do what you need to do without the struggle. So your measure of success comes based off what your purpose is, what you find your purpose to be. And that doesn't have to be, oh, you bring your family somewhere, or you get a master's or occupational therapy, or you become the biggest pastor in the world, or you
I don't want that.
or you but facts though, like your success literally has no ceiling, it has no limits, and it's not based off anybody else. We have that mentality to want to please our parents. You feel me? But in the end, we gotta please ourselves. It's kind of like what you said earlier, where you said you're happy, and what Dre said earlier, but you're happy for other people, but you have a hard time being happy for yourself. It's kind of the same as, how can you be happy for other people if you're not happy for yourself? You can't give yourself to nobody if you can't give yourself first. Like, you have to be here first before you can give there, or you're gonna burn yourself out. You'll burn yourself out to a point where it's like, damn, well, I've been doing all this, I've been helping this, I've been doing that. Like, what did I do for myself? And in the end, it's always gonna come down to that.
But then, okay, to that point, right? Then I have the question of like,
Because I'm in that exact spot right now of like figuring out what I'm doing for myself and what I'm doing for them, and it feels like at some point I don't know what I want for myself because I've been doing what they want for so long.
Can I?
or what if your purpose is to serve?
If your purpose is to serve, then
Like
that's your purpose.
Serve who?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Be
if
of
your
service
purpose-
to people.
But why can't you serve
You
yourself?
gotta serve yourself first.
That's an option.
You are in person.
Serving
You
is
wake up
yeah,
to
you're
myself.
you.
Does that make sense?
Do I hear something scrapping?
Wait, go ahead, Sarah.
Selfless behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You grow up in selfless behavior, that's how you are. So if your purpose is to serve, that's just how you end up being. And your entire life is for, the purpose is, to put others above you. How about that?
Yeah. What if that's your purpose though?
Not to live for somebody else, but to put others above
Yeah,
you.
But I feel like it's a balance, and you
Yeah,
just
I
haven't found the balance.
Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
balance.
Because at least, I don't know, I don't want to speak for myself, but like I just said, I grew up in a space where I was completely surrounded by service.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when it came down to school and you had to do community service hours, I didn't have to do nothing extra. I just wrote an essay about what I do on a regular day, you know what I'm saying? But it's about finding the balance between knowing what you want for yourself, or figuring out what you want for yourself, knowing what you need to do for you so you don't burn out for other people, and understanding how all those things work together. Yeah.
So now, if you've been living a life of service, right? Sorry. If you've been living a life of service,
You don't even need therapy.
when you,
I'm your therapist.
but the thing is, when you stop being of service to people, those
They not
people,
gonna need you. That's what you
not
want.
they're not gonna need you, but those people are gonna look at you like, Ashley done changed up, Ashley done switched up.
And they don't have to
Now
do
she
that.
moving different. Now she doing then it's like,
Can I
Elevation.
what can I
Can I
do?
answer her?
Because then if I
But you
can't,
can't do it solely because of that. You have to do it because it's in you.
Yeah, you have to do it because it's fulfilling to yourself.
but in that, but then finding the balance, right now,
Yeah.
it's fulfilling to me to celebrate.
So it
others.
doesn't matter.
Now, if I
what
were
they think.
to redirect some energy to me,
Yes.
my thing is my thought process goes then I'm taking away from them.
And I think you should be like, I hope you appreciated what I did for you when I could, but now I cannot.
So
Because it's
I have
not
a
something that
question
you
for
did
though.
because you just stopped.
But I have a question for you. Why do you feel like you deserve less? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And you didn't say it with your
Yeah.
words, but
Did you hear
but
that, Ashley?
everything when I'm reading between the lines, that's exactly what you're saying though.
Back through the layers.
Wait, you're something.
Yo, you know
How do you see it? How do you
Because I
see
hope you know you appreciate it on this
My
side.
letter
You
to
about to pay for
myself,
therapy?
yo,
It's free, dog.
I ain't gonna lie, I
So
charge like
then
10, 27
another
an
point-
hour.
You got Dre on cool?
The reason why,
Make sure you buy his number. You feel me?
right? The reason why is because
646.
one of
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, actually. Yeah, I'm sorry.
we're here for you. The reason why another point was to myself was that you're good enough, and that's why the point of like you don't have to feel like you deserve the blessing that you got. Whereas like I never felt that I was good enough.
Because you're trying to continue to give yourself to others. You ain't giving
No,
yourself.
it's like I'm not good enough to deserve that. If that makes sense.
So
I don't know, like,
Says who you?
What's good enough?
says,
then?
You know what I'm saying?
what's good enough was the comparison. Like you're not doing this, or
Comparison.
Well,
to
then
be
you really,
yours,
yeah, you really just chasing the ghost.
well
then.
then
You
you
never gonna
can't
catch that.
really
Because as soon as you
think of
achieve
that when
the
you're a
next person's
kid.
thing,
So come to that,
It's
we're not
the
supposed to be
enjoy
good
it.
enough. That's
Right.
why it's unmerited favor. It is
'Cause
okay
once-
for us whether we're good enough or
once
not.
you go from being yourself to doing whatever that next person was doing that somebody told you you should be doing it like that, once you start doing that, then they're gonna find something else for you to be doing.
Right.
And it's never gonna happen.
They're gonna
But
keep
you
moving
see
the
the-
goal.
What do
This
you
is
want to
Ashley-
do?
This is the 24-year-old Ashley you're speaking to. 10-year-old Ashley is not thinking that.
That's the letter to yourself.
But then
Yo, hold yourself
because
accountable now.
of
Yeah, but it's still
It's
a
hard-
process
it's
to
hard.
unlearn that. Like you have
Yeah.
to, like you can spit off your traumas from you. Easy. They there. Like even if you over it, they're there. You remember them. You have to still break down those walls and like even if she could not register that, yes, she now
I can
has to
say it
then
and understand it.
say, okay, now how did I act then, and how do I continue to act now as a guard for that happened then, or like whatever. Like you have to go through that whole process, which is still
Yo,
hard.
I'm not telling you to be good in August. I'm telling you that like in the long run, you got a 5-year plan, right? Why is that only a 5-year plan? Why does like financial success be like at the top of everybody's 5-year plan, but not mental success? Or unpacking trauma or bettering yourself or like you feel me?
Because
There we go, you about to get the excuse. And
Excuses.
before you even get the
Yo,
Chill, give me some.
who wants to cry and live in trauma?
Okay, but after you cry.
In breaking down why you acted a certain way, that unpacking business,
I think
that unpacking business, I guess that requires energy that I have to use for something else.
But stop thinking you have to achieve that tomorrow.
because
You gotta achieve that by tomorrow.
I have to wake up and go to work tomorrow.
But you just
So
told me
do
you have to
I.
make what you need to make a
You take
priority.
what you need.
Well,
And like you said,
I
you're
can't
unpacking.
I
You're
can't.
not unpacking. Once you're done unpacking, it's
Necessary.
empty. But if you never
Yeah.
unpack, you always gonna be happy. It's only
well, we
gonna
just
be-
gonna sprinkle
Mental
out
health,
of the bag.
bro.
You're not sprinkling.
Lunchtime
You're not even
therapy,
just
I
not
think.
Acknowledging. See, the first step
That's
is
what it is.
acknowledging
There
the
we
problem.
go.
The first step is
This is what I'm
But
saying.
that's
You don't
also
need to be good by August.
acknowledging. I'm in the acknowledging step right now. The working step. I don't know how to. The thing is, I don't know how.
What you said, Rhea?
I think you have to stop looking to want to please people and try to look for yourself. Because you said those same people who I was there for and all that stuff gonna be like, oh, she changed up. To be honest, you finally started giving some time to yourself, and you allowing them to take that joy from you. So you gotta give some time to yourself so
But
you can
then
continue to get
It's
more.
also I don't know if there's joy there
Can I be
because I've never
honest?
been there.
Can I be honest?
That's how you know it's not
You
there.
fear.
So how do I know it is?
Don't
there?
feel
you
what
fear the
you don't know.
unknown.
As your sister friend,
You gotta put yourself on
This is not an episode about me. So
It's not,
the letters
but you're
y'all
making a valid
bring
point.
in, like, yeah, what's your letter?
Ashley.
Get him a contract.
Ashley.
but what I would say as your sister friend,
Chill,
and
I'm in
like
there.
this is not the advice or any of that stuff to keep it a stack. You're not tired enough yet.
Yeah.
Cause you'll be on some no, and then you do what you
Did
do.
he say that?
You're not tired enough yet.
You say it again. You're not tired enough yet. You're not tired enough yet. Say it again. You're not saying it. There you go.
So you like,
No, but I'm just saying.
Y'all was
That's
coming out
it.
my boy?
Yeah,
Listen,
You're just
listen.
not tired enough to
It's the
deal with that
passion.
shit.
Feel me? Because how can you be tired when you only gone so far? I'm sorry.
Nah, facts.
Cause everybody gets to that point where you get to that point and you're like, yeah.
Nah, what I will say though is like even through everything we're saying, I say continue to be you. Like honestly, we all around you. Some might met you yesterday, met you last month, a few years ago. We all here with you. Like, I want you to know you appreciate it. Like, no matter how much I joke, you appreciate it. Everybody's appreciated. Like, I appreciate y'all for having me. This is a platform for everybody.
I'm hearing
They give me no fucking.
I know it's gonna go through the other ear, but I'm gonna knock it back through the ear.
Hey, Ashley's giving you a heart. Sarah. She's like this.
Yo, give it
You feel me? Sarah's doing this. I got you, Sarah. We here.
I'm hearing you.
Boom.
But once again, episode's not about me. Let's